Today I want to share with you what God has been doing in my life. It all started off back in 2007 or 8 when I was 16 years of age. I was going through a really hard situation. And during I was in that hard situation, I wanted to commit suicide. And then in that moment, Jesus came to my life as a bright light. He gave me a hug. He said to me, "You are my son. I love you." And that was the first time where I gave my life to Jesus. I said, "Jesus, with my life, I will serve you." My journey in life continued on into sports. I became a soccer player. I started to be part of reading my Bible daily. I started to commit myself to the Lord. And as time went by, in 2009, I had to move to Canada. In Canada, things came out a little bit different than what I expected or thought about. I started to not want to follow in the path of the Lord. I started to let myself guide by my friends until one day I said, "Lord, I just going to leave and let my friends guide me because I feel more comfortable there." That was my worst mistake I could have done. So at the moment when I was going to go and play a soccer game, God speaks to me that morning and He says, "Go and don't sin anymore, otherwise something worse will happen to you." So as I went into my soccer games, I didn't want to change my attitude, and that day I had a big accident. I broke my knee, my right knee. So as I broke my ACL of my knee, I really felt like my dream of being a soccer player just drowned down. I felt so bad, and for the next 6 months, as I was getting doctors, medication, and checking for the doctor's appointments, as I was going through that journey of suffering in a way, I just was so angry with God, I didn't want to speak to Him. Later on, I was able to get surgery on my knees. And one day at a soccer game, I just asked the question, "God, why did you allow this to happen?" As I said the word "why," well, at that moment, God shows me, or He talks to me again. He says, "Oh, do you remember that day when I spoke to you and I told you don't sin anymore, otherwise something worse will happen to you? Well, you didn't listen to me." I remember my eyes started to pour out. My heart realized that God was talking to me again and reminding me. And at that moment, in that soccer field, as I was watching my friends, I said, "Lord, I have to change. I'm sorry. Please come into my heart and help me do this right again." And from that day on, my life completely changed. Completely. I cannot remember another day. So I started to read my Bible. I started to study in the New Testament the way that Jesus was intended. And soon after, I became a youth leader of a Spanish youth group. I started to understand things that I never understood before about God and His purposes in life. I would answer all the questions and understand it through the Bible. He would give me all the answers. So soon after, I realized that I needed to get the control of my life. So on the 1st of October of 2012, I gave my life. I said, "God, now I want you to have control over my life. I don't want to direct my life. I just want you to have guidance over it." As soon as that came in, God put it, devotional started to speak to me in a special way, and He showed me that I had to go into missions. I remember as He gave me this passage and I went there, I had gotten an invitation to go to a camp, help in the kitchen at Camp Crossroads. And I remember being at Camp Crossroads with a friend, and I was sharing my testimony with the cooks of there, and there was an elderly man called Will Sainsbury. At the time, he was 75 years of age. And he tells me, "Hey, I want to support you." And he was the first person to encourage me to actually go into missions. And I knew that the important thing, it was not about the money, but to the people. So I said, "Well, where do you live?" And I found out he lives just 5 minutes away from where I used to live. At that moment, I decided, okay, I will be with you, visit you, and I started to get to know this man, William Sainsbury, and he just changed my life. He taught me how to cook cookies, how to do stir fry. He started to show me different things about life, and we started to build a relationship. In the end, he was one of our biggest supporters and encouragers at that time. Soon after, I shared my testimony at Bethany Community Church, and the church accepted me to be a missionary from them. And that was just a God answered petition that I had. How am I going to go into missions? And then Bethany came along, and it was just peace in my heart that I have to go. I went to Germany. It was beautiful. It was a great time with my father. This is a time where I'm going to be memorizing or remembering my father in a special time. My father and I went on a car which only could go 100 kilometers an hour. It was just perfectly the time or the kilometers to be on the highway. It was just so much fun with my father going on that journey together in Germany, visiting churches, sharing our testimony, sharing what we were doing and we were going to be doing in Uruguay. And my goal was to learn about youth ministry. So I went there with an open heart to learn. In Germany, I was able to spend and visit different areas of Germany, visit different youth groups. Also, a church invited me to be part of a ministry in Moldavia, which gave me a lot of experience to work with children with poverty areas and share the gospel to children through games and sports as well. So in a way, it was my first interaction with sports was in Moldavia and sharing the gospel there with sports. So as I continued to return from Moldavia, in Uruguay in 2013, I started to become a little bit of everything. I became a person in the fields. I've been a person working the trees, a person working in construction, a person who became of all trades a little bit, learned how to do electricity, working on cement, working on drywall, painting, and also the things you could imagine, which is handicraft. Well, that was I was doing in Uruguay. So as time went by, I was able to meet my beautiful wife. After 2 years being in the mission field, I got to meet Joanna. Joanna is from Paraguay. We got to know each other. It was just a beautiful journey, as in 2014 we got to know each other at our best friend's birthday party, and after a year, exactly 1 year after, we got married. And we went on this beautiful journey. We did our honeymoon in Mexico. We came to Canada to visit friends, introduce my wife to our mission field or the churches that were supporting us or supporters. And then right after, we went on a great adventure. We went to South Sports Leadership School, and this was a beautiful and best experience we could have had together. But as a married couple, we had to go. Well, it was our first month living together. So when we went to the school, we had to learn to be 3 months separated in different rooms, men with men and women with women. It was just a beautiful, although it was hard for us at the beginning, but it was just a beautiful experience to go through that school. They taught us a lot. I went through inner healing, and well, I've learned the tools that I'm able to do now with sports ministry. As we got back from the school, God started to open up doors for sports ministry. We started with Global Community Games. Then we started to do soccer academies, and we started to train leaders in different areas where we had people who were personal trainers, and we started to bring the Goal Health and Fitness area into Uruguay. So we started to work and different ways, stages in ministry. Every year was different, but God started to open up people and bring where we were able to do discipleship and share the gospel to them. So in this journey, after 2 or 3 years of being in ministry, we got to meet a group of pastors. That's where we were able to meet with Jake, and we built a really good relationship with Jake. It was just a nice opportunity. And as he went back to Canada, he was pastoring Vineland Community Church, and soon after we received the news that Vineland Community Church was actually wanting to accept us as their missionaries as well. So this was a really great news for us. So we were very thankful for this opportunity, for a new church that would be able to have us. God gave us a beautiful family. So in 2017, my daughter is born after a promise that God gives me. God one day, a Friday morning in December, comes to me and He gives me this word. He says, well, you are going to have a ministry, a sports ministry. But for you to know this, it's going to really happen. You're going to have a daughter. And 2 or 3 weeks after, we found out that my wife was pregnant. And a year later, we found out, or 9 months after, we found out that it was a daughter. So God confirmed through some word He gave me in my heart that we were going to have a ministry. And so today, as our family continues to grow, we have a daughter that is 6 years of age. Today, my son is also 4 years of age. Their names are Aisha and Tariq, and we are able to spend time together, to learn, to serve in ministry together. And our goal is to be a family on a mission. So wherever we go, we try to serve. Wherever we go, we try to do ministry. We share the gospel through different ways, through Go Play, through Go Sport, through health and fitness. And we're trying to reach out as many audiences, but our calling, special calling that we have as a family today, is that we want to train others, train leaders to become disciples of Christ in the world of sport games. And we are now in a new journey. This year, 2024, God opened up a door to go to Paraguay. So we are in a new journey, getting to know new people. We're getting to know another language for myself. My wife does speak Guarani, so I'm learning Guarani. No, it's not what I need, but it's Guarani. That's the language. So if you can be praying for us in this time, it would be great. So I'm very encouraged that God is doing a lot of things, that God is showing us love and care. And just know that you are with us in prayer. You are with us. If one day God calls you to come to Paraguay, you can come and join us on a mission trip. But you're also there in helping us to maintain our family stability through financial support. So we want to thank you very much for praying for us as a family. We want to thank you for being there in the different ways that you are, and know that God is here. God is with you, and God is with us, showing us what we have to do next.